understand that everything that you need is already in place. You just have to tap into it. Once I realized that every single thing I needed was within me, I became a beast. Greetings, beautiful ones. Fran here, back with another video. And you'll probably see Bella roaming around in the back there. I haven't done a video in the car in a while, so I just thought that I would jump on and talk to you guys about something. So, before we go any further, thank you for being here. Thank you for liking and subscribing to the video. All right, so I just left a meeting at Chase, JP Morgan Chase Bank. I met with a private wealth investor. Now, you got to stick with me here because I'm telling you something that's really important. You guys say you want me to talk more about money, obtaining money, managing money, investing money when you get it, when you manifest it, and that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to go back a little bit and tell you guys about the story when I know that if you've stuck around here for a while, you've heard this story, that I was in California maybe 10 years ago. And at this point, I just had a simple business checking account with Chase. And we went in to get some money. And as we were going in the private wealth door, which I didn't know that there was a difference. It was a bank, just figured it was a bank, so it's Chase. I have a checking account with Chase. Let's go in here and get some money. And when we were walking through the door, the security guard stops us, right? And the security guard looks like me, right? He looks like me. So I wasn't so offended by the stop at the beginning, right? But he says to me, he says, "Ma'am, are you a private wealth client?" And he says, "And if so, who are you here to see?" Right? And so I said, "Well, I'm a Chase Bank account holder." I said, "I don't know about the private wealth part." And he says, "Okay, so if you're not a private wealth client," he goes, "I apologize, but you have to go into the front bank. You can't come back here in the bank. This is for private wealth clients only." And so he says, you can ask them more about that in the front. He goes, I'm really sorry. Like, he was very apologetic, right? But I felt some kind of way. Like, I was like, so you have to be at a certain level or status to go into this part of the bank? So needless to say, when we went into the bank, I asked about the criteria and why certain people came in certain interests, etc. And the gentleman explained to me that a lot of people who have a lot of wealth, 6 figures plus, don't like to come in the front of the bank because for many reasons. Number one, they could be carrying a lot of money. They could be withdrawing a lot of money. Lots of circumstances around why they would not want to come in the front of the bank. Some of them are celebrities or very, very high-end people, and they just would rather have this interest. That interest is blocked off inside the bank. You can't even see, so you can't even see who's in there, right? So I was just like, what the? Like, okay. So I'm thinking, what kind of money is this, right? Now, mind you, 10 years ago, I had a decent amount of money. I had a decent amount of money. I was not by any means in Struggleville anymore. Because we know I done been to Struggleville in my mind and in my pocket. Okay? So I was no longer in Struggleville. That's the first thing. I had some money, and I thought I had a really decent amount of money. But I did not have enough to be a private wealth client. When me and Bay walked out the door, I remember looking at him saying, I will be able to be a private wealth client. I will be a private wealth client. And he said, okay. Because anything I say, he says, okay. Like, he's like, you've done things I didn't even think you could do. So, okay. And so at that time, I really started seeking how do you gather and maintain that type of prosperity. It's different when you are constantly manifesting money and money is constantly just moving, right? Like it's constantly going, you're constantly spending it, and it doesn't seem to be substantial. Now, as you guys know, I believe that you shouldn't have to make a choice between saving and spending. That's just not what I believe, and that's just not what I teach. I think that you should be able to do both. I think you should be able to spend, and I think you should be able to save. My opinion, way I live, you live how you want to, that's how I live. Okay, so I began to really study prosperity like differently. Like I've already been studying prosperity, mind you, for 10 plus, 15 plus years at this point. But I still had not gotten to the level of being able to be a private wealth client. So I started studying, I started asking for discernment around this. I started really thirsting to have this specific type of life. Now, when I say this specific type of life, I'm not talking about just having a lot of money so that I could have it. But I wanted to have enough money so that the things that I wanted in my life, nobody could tell me. I feel like money gives us the power to have the things that we truly need in our life. So that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be one of those people who had what they needed, not only so they could help themselves, but so they could help other people. So that I could teach other people how to do this. People like me who didn't even know that you could be a wealth client. Okay? That's the first one. All right. So I started learning about private wealth. I started learning about how to maintain private wealth. But at the same time, I was adding the component of manifesting and creating more wealth in my business and in my life. I was asking for direction on how to do that. How can I attract and maintain more prosperity in my business and life? So I was doing all of that. So here's today. This is what I'm talking about today. For 3 months now, I've been getting these emails and phone calls about coming to talk to a private wealth investor. All right. Fran now has enough money, right? So they say. They've been on me about all these private wealth products. And here's the interesting thing about creating and maintaining wealth. You don't even have to start big. Now, if you want to jump into the private wealth sector, you got to have 7 figures plus. But to start manifesting, creating, saving money in a way that your money is giving you back money and paying you, it's not hard to do. And you don't need a lot of money to do so. And on our next ride along, I'm going to talk about that. But I went in and I talked to him about all the different ways I could make my money work for me, right? All the different ways I can make my money work for me. And it was so interesting because a lot of the things that he was telling me, like CDs, certain savings bonds, certain stocks, etc., high interest savings accounts didn't even take 6 figures to start. Didn't even take 5 figures to start. Took only 2 figures to start. But because we are not privileged to that kind of information, you following me? We would not know that. That's why I am so passionate about teaching you not only how to manifest and create and maintain your abundance, but to understand that there is unlimited abundance in this universe, and there's unlimited ways to have the lifestyle you desire. Some of y'all may be saying, well, Dr. Fran, I don't care about being a private wealth client. I want to buy a house. It's the same exact thing. If you don't know what programs are in place for you, all you're going to think is that I don't have the credit to buy a house, so I can't buy a house. Or my credit's good, but I don't have the money to buy a house. And that's not true. People are buying homes with zero money down, right? Now, the bank's not going to tell you that. That's something you have to go in knowing. You have to be armed with information. If you are not armed with information, you are missing out on things that you desire. A lot of people think that they cannot even buy a good car, a nice car, a new car, without money down or credit. It's not true. And I'm not talking from a buy here, pay here law. Yeah, I know all about those. Been there, done that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about walking up into the dealer of your choice with your ducks in a row, saying, I want to buy that car. What can we do? How can we work that? Life is very interesting once you take the time to open and elevate your mind to what is. If you constantly feel like you are in lack, you're living in lack, and that you'll never have enough, and that there's not enough, and that's not the lifestyle for you, you're going to stay right there. You're going to stay right there. And I'm telling you, my love, I don't want you to stay. I want you to have everything that your heart desires. And, like, I mean, it's like, tell people all the time, God, I don't care if you're poor or rich. You want to be rich? Be rich. Want to be poor? Be poor. God has no preference, right? However, you got to get clear about what you want, and you also have to speak it. Be vocal about it. Don't be ashamed to tell God, listen, I'd like to have millions of dollars so that I can. You know, we tell our friends, yeah, I'd like to have some more money, and well, if I could just get another extra 100, 200, 100,000, 100,000, if I can get an extra. We're quick to tell our friends those things who can't give us no money. We didn't even include him in it, right? And then you wonder why your breakthrough's not happening. You're not waiting on God, honey. God's waiting on you. Let me tell you that. So, I'm saying that to say this. The more you know, like they used to say on, I don't know if it was Sesame Street, I don't know what it was. But anyway, the more you know, the more you grow. Take the locks off your mind. Dive into what it is you truly want. And then ask for guidance. Saturate your mind with teaching. Saturate your mind with the understanding of what is available to you and how it is available to you. Understand that everything that you need is already in place. You just have to tap into it. Once I realized that every single thing I needed was within me, I became it. Right? I wanted it. I wanted it. Desired it because I desired it. I didn't have to answer no questions about it. It was going to happen because it had to happen. God said, whatever I declare on earth will be declared in heaven. Ask, believe, receive. I had crazy faith, still got it. Even when the bumps in the road come, I know that there's no way that things cannot work out. That's how you. There's no way things are not going to work out. All right, loves, I'm pulling up to my next location. I will talk to you guys really, really soon. Thanks for riding with me.